Welcome back to Cars with Memories. Today we are counting down the 5 best-looking sedans of the 1970s. Big, bold, and built to make a statement. Let us get into it. Coming in at number 5, the Buick Electra 225. There is a reason people who actually lived through the 1970s still bring up this car unprompted. The Electra 225 was not just a Buick. It was the car that told everyone in the neighborhood that the owner had done well for themselves, without a single word needing to be said. Buick built it to sit just below Cadillac in the General Motors hierarchy, and in doing so created something that felt like true luxury without ever feeling like it was trying too hard to prove it. The exterior wore that confidence in the softest possible way. A pale, buttery yellow paint job stretched across a body long enough to fill an entire driveway, capped with a tan vinyl half roof that gave the greenhouse a two-tone elegance most cars of the era never bothered attempting. Up front, quad rectangular headlights sat inside a vertical bar grille, framed by a heavy chrome bumper wearing its own set of vertical guards, the kind of front end that looked like it was built to survive a small collision without a scratch. A slim character line ran the full length of the body from the front fender back to the rear quarter, catching the sunlight just enough to break up all that sheet metal without interrupting the clean, unhurried profile. Slotted chrome wheels wrapped in whitewall tires finished the look underneath, and the Electra 225 script sat quietly on the rear fender, confirming exactly what you already suspected the moment you saw it coming. Underneath that long hood sat the 455 cubic inch V8, and the way it moved this car was unlike anything you feel in a modern engine. There was no urgency to it, no need to rev or strain. It simply produced a wall of torque from idle and pushed the entire car forward with an ease that made every input feel effortless. Step inside and the cabin backed up every promise the exterior made. The caramel-toned leather seats were channel-stitched front and rear, deep enough to disappear into on a long drive and wide enough that 3 adults across the back bench never felt cramped. Wood grain paneling ran the full width of the dashboard and continued onto each door panel, broken up by chrome accents that caught the light without ever feeling excessive. The steering wheel sat thin and elegant in your hands, centered by the Buick emblem, and a small center console between the front seats held cup holders and storage that felt genuinely thoughtful for the era. Every surface you touched communicated the same message the exterior did. This was a car built for someone who had earned the right to sit exactly this comfortably. The Buick Electra 225 earns its place on this list because it proved that American luxury did not always need a Cadillac badge to feel completely convincing. Coming in at number 4, the Oldsmobile 98. By the early 1970s, Oldsmobile had built a reputation as the brand that split the difference between Buick's comfort and Cadillac's prestige, and the 98 was the car that proved it. This was not the performance division of Oldsmobile. This was the flagship, built for buyers who wanted the full-size experience without needing to explain themselves to anyone. The exterior carried that flagship confidence in every panel. A deep forest green finish stretched across a body long enough to comfortably seat 6, capped with a black convertible top that gave the silhouette a formal elegance whether raised or folded away. Up front, quad-round headlights sat inside a heavy egg crate grille, flanked by the Oldsmobile script on one side, and the rocket emblem standing proudly at the center of the hood. Thick chrome bumpers wrapped both ends of the car with a substantial presence that felt built for durability rather than decoration, and a subtle character line ran the length of the doors, catching light without ever competing with the overall calm of the design. The 98 script sat quietly on the rear quarter panel, understated in a way that matched the entire personality of the car. Step inside and the cabin doubled down on that same sense of occasion. Deep green button tufted seating stretched across both rows, firm enough to support you on long drives, yet soft enough to feel genuinely indulgent. Wood grain paneling ran across the dashboard and framed the climate controls, the heater switches labeled plainly in a way that felt honest rather than overly technical. The 3-spoke steering wheel carried the Oldsmobile emblem at its center, and directly behind it sat a full-width gauge cluster with a dedicated clock positioned on the passenger side, a small detail that told you Oldsmobile expected their buyers to actually care about the time they spent behind the wheel. The 98 earns its place on this list because it delivered genuine American luxury without needing the most famous badge in the segment to convince anyone of it. Coming in at number 3, the Chrysler New Yorker Brougham. There's a certain kind of car that didn't need to shout to be noticed, and this 1976 Chrysler New Yorker Brougham is exactly that. By the mid-70s, Chrysler's flagship had become the last word in American formality, a car built for men who wore hats to church and women who kept white gloves in the glove box. It wasn't flashy, it was correct, and there was something deeply reassuring about a car that carried itself with that kind of quiet confidence. The face of it is unmistakable, that vertical grille, fine as piano keys, framed by hidden headlamps and topped with the Chrysler crest, standing proud on the fender. It borrowed a little swagger from the finest coach-built cars of Europe, dressed up in American steel. The cream paint stretches over acres of hood and trunk, broken only by a whisper-thin coach line that traces the length of the body like a tailor's chalk mark. Chrome bumpers, thick and substantial, bookend the car front and rear, and even the side mirrors carry that same confident heft. Nothing about this car apologized for its size. Under that broad hood sat a 400 cubic inch V8 rated at 210 horsepower, not built to startle, but to glide, the same way everything else about this car was built to glide. And then there's the cabin, which might be the real heart of the story. That deep blue crushed velour, tufted and pillowed like a parlor sofa, wraps the seats in a softness that modern cars rarely bother with anymore. Wood grain trim runs the width of the dash, warm and rich under the glow of the gauges and the details. The crest on the wheel, the fold-down armrest, the chrome-ringed vents, all speak to a brand that still believed presentation mattered. This wasn't just a way to get somewhere. It was a room you happened to be traveling in. Coming in at number 2, the 1973 Cadillac DeVille. If one nameplate defined what it meant to arrive in America during the 70s, it was this one. The 1973 Cadillac Sedan DeVille wasn't competing with other cars so much as setting the standard everyone else measured themselves against. Owning one wasn't just a purchase, it was an announcement, a signal that you'd made it, parked right there in the driveway for the whole street to see. Look at that face and you understand why. The egg crate grille spreads wide and low, stacked with quad headlamps on either side like sentries standing guard, while the Cadillac crest rises from the hood on its own little pedestal, catching light from every angle. The champagne gold body rolls back in one long, unbroken sweep, capped by a black vinyl roof that gives the whole car a sharp two-tone contrast. Chrome wraps the lower body like a ribbon, and those wide white walls, framed by crest-embossed hubcaps, finish the look with old money restraint rather than flash. Power came from a 472 cubic inch V8, a genuine giant of an engine, built less for speed and more for the kind of relaxed, effortless authority this car was known for. Slide inside, and the story shifts from spectacle to comfort. The seats are done in a diamond-quilted pattern, soft gray fabric bordered by gleaming black vinyl bolsters, tailored with the kind of precision you'd expect from a much smaller budget-conscious car. Except here, it stretches across a bench wide enough for 3. Rich wood trim frames the dash, the Cadillac script sits proudly above the radio, and even the door panels carry that same layered, tailored look. Every surface says the same thing, nothing here was an afterthought. And for the top of our list, the 1975 Lincoln Continental. This wasn't a car for blending in, it was for the executive who wanted the world to notice him arrive, then wait patiently while he made his exit. The face alone tells you everything. Stacked quad headlamps standing at attention on either side of a towering vertical grille, styled less like an automobile front end and more like the entrance to a private club. That shifting teal paint drifts between deep forest and ocean blue depending on how the light hits it, flowing back over a long, formal roofline broken only by small oval opera windows near the rear pillar. A detail meant to hint at privacy without fully hiding whoever sat in back. Down low, thick chrome bumpers wrap the nose and tail like armor plating, while wire spoke hubcaps and slim white walls add a touch of old-world polish to all that heft. Beneath the hood sat a 460 cubic inch V8, one of the largest engines Ford ever put into a production car. Less about quick getaways, more about gliding down a boulevard with total, unshakable confidence. Open the door, and the whole story shifts into something almost jewel-like. Deep teal leather covers the seats in soft channel-stitched rows, bordered by rich burl wood trim that wraps the dash and spills onto the door panels. A genuine Cartier clock ticks away in the center stack, its name spelled out in gold script for anyone who happened to glance over. Plush carpet, dyed to match the exterior, rolls out beneath your feet, and every switch and handle carries a weight and finish that feels closer to fine furniture than factory parts. This was a cabin built for people who measured comfort in inches of leather, not miles per hour. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. Thanks for watching Cars with Memories, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.